It is Wednesday, my dudes, and I've not been home all day, so it's a very late Wednesday evening as I'm recording this. That said, I have seen the new Fenris exclusive equipment that was just shown earlier this morning over on Stove, and I've seen the community's reaction to it. And honestly, I'm not really happy about the entire situation because, as I've said in other videos before, I've played these games before. I know where this road goes, and I think it's honestly embarrassing that the dev team decided to put forth this exclusive equipment, so I want to talk about it in this video. So tonight after maintenance, as I'm recording this video, we will get a hero balance adjustment for Fenris as well as new kid Autumn. Fenris will be getting increased combat range to the ally in the back row when he uses his skill 3. That's awesome, makes him great for Hopeless Samaquas Expedition. I think that's pretty cool. New kid Auden is going to be getting some stuff here, a lot of different changes, right? I'm not going to get all into it because I don't want the video to be too long. I just want to get my thoughts out on the meat and potatoes of it. But I do think this does make her quite a bit better. The extra combat race increase is quite good, right? The soul burn change is much better as well. So essentially you can on-demand AoE, get that AoE injury, rather than needing the vigor buff to actually do what she's supposed to do. All of this seems pretty good. My problem comes in the new exclusive equipment, specifically Fenris here on this Mistletoe, I think that's how you pronounce it. Specifically the second one here, Unwavering Will, which is very obviously going to be the one that everyone is going to play. Because it says on his Unwavering Will skill here, when facing Harseti as an enemy, grants Will of Purification, only applies to PvP. Will of Purification is a unique effect that is undispellable. It increases the fighting spirit gain by 100%, and at the start of the first battle increases his combat radius by 50%. Unaffected by effects that reduce combat radius increases of the caster, remains even after reviving. So this is essentially, if you take Fenris with this exclusive equipment and are fighting against a Harseti, it gives him a strictly better version of Zio's Supreme Authority passive. That gives 20% combat radius at the start of the fight. Essentially, that's what allows him to almost pseudo guarantee turn 1 in most matchups. This is a 50% increase, which means that if your opponent tries to take Harseti and Zio, Fenris still outspeeds the Zio, and with the change to his skill 3, you do get that combat radius push up, which will allow you to basically build entire teams that will just completely nuke Harseti off the face of the earth. It's a just ridiculous hard counter. Now, I believe that they should address Harseti. We talked about this in the infographic video a couple of days back, right? Harseti has a ridiculous pre-ban rate to the point where it is a problem that I feel like they cannot actually ignore. It's over 80%, or I think it was 70% of their infographic, but the data that we had previously prior to that was roughly around 80%. Previously, the big disaster units were always around 40 to 50%. So for her to be in the 70 to 80% range is an absolutely ridiculous thing. They absolutely have to address the situation in some way. My problem is how they chose to address it. It is the laziest way possible. They chose the route of the silver bullet. Now, in case you're unfamiliar with the term silver bullet, right? It comes from mythology. Werewolves, apparently the only way you can defeat them is to hit them with a silver bullet. Silver is the only thing that hurts them. Nothing else will actually get rid of the werewolf in this case, right? Or the Tristan wolf, whatever you want to call it. That said, it has another meaning that we commonly use in the card game community. A silver bullet is a easy, lazy solution to a complex problem. It is specifically designed to hose one thing and one thing only, but it comes with some drawbacks, right? Because number one, the silver bullet is so obviously a silver bullet that every player knows it's a silver bullet. They can look at it from a mile away and go, wow, this just hoses this one card and it doesn't really do anything else. And it doesn't matter what level of play you are, right, player? A competitive one, a casual one, everybody knows that that's what it is. So it gives this sense that the designers are lazy, right? They couldn't figure out a solution to a problem, and they designed a really lazy workaround. Now, the second problem with this is that if it doesn't work, then you have egg on your face. So now not only does your player base know you have no idea what you're doing, it's doubly apparent because this proposed solution, it didn't exactly work. And now I'm not saying that this exclusive equipment won't work against Harsetti. Just eyeballing it, it looks like it's going to be insane. It basically looks like you're going to get a free win against Harsetti. Essentially kind of like soft countering her, removing her from the metagame entirely. She'll still hold a pre-ban, most likely, in World Arena. Like, she'll just hold a pre-ban hostage forever, which doesn't really also address the core issue. The core issue is that the character has like 80% pre-ban rate. Harsetti players will still leave it unbanned, and they'll just get rid of your Fenris, right? Or they'll pre-ban your Fenris, right? So they don't have to deal with it under ban pick protection. And I know some people are going to ask me, like, hey, Sue, how do you know all this? Why are you just speaking like this so casually? And once again, if you guys seen any videos where I talk about this stuff, I have played these games before, right? Let's rewind the clock back about 15 years or so to my very first competitive card game, the one that I tried to take very seriously, the first thing that got me into doing game design, and that is the Naruto collectible card game. Now, in the Naruto collectible card game, we had a card called Naruto Uzumaki Overflowing Chakra, right? And it has two effects. The first one doesn't really matter. You don't need to understand what it actually does. It was supposed to be a drawback. It didn't work. Let's talk about the real problem with this card. This card says that this ninja cannot be affected by your opponent's effects. That means that all of your opponent's cards do nothing to this card. They cannot interact with it in any meaningful way. They cannot target it. The effects don't work on it, period, right? So the only way for you to beat this card is you have to have greater stats than it. And it has 4 as its attack and then 6 if it's injured. So what happened is when this card came out, the entire game warped around this specific card because you literally can't interact with it. So the entire way that we had to think about the game was you just have to play what are called pump spells. Basically, things that increase your power to be stronger than Naruto. Historically, these are not very good things in card games because if you play something that says that you get +5 attack and I respond by just using something that removes it from the game, you wasted a card and now you just get completely wrecked. So most people don't try to play pump effects. But because of this card's existence, everyone has to play pump effects because they can't deal with this otherwise. And so it over-centralizes the whole game on this one specific problem. And now, if you are somebody that's not playing Overflowing Chakra Naruto, and the person you're playing against isn't playing it, then you guys just have a deck filled with pump spells that are there specifically for this one card that a lot of people are actually playing. And so the person who actually packed removal, which is suboptimal in a game that revolves around this, they're going to be advantaged. Like, it completely ruins the state of the game. And no one enjoys it. And so there's usually like a gentleman's agreement at locals. You're not going to play Overflowing Chakra. It's a huge problem. Now, they could nerf Overflowing Chakra, but that comes with another set of problems, right? And that is the third Hokage addressing past wrongs problem, right? So this card was an incredibly powerful card when it first came out, right? It was the best card in the entire game. They eventually ended up gutting it. But that comes with a problem in a physical card game. Twofold, I should say. Number one, it pisses people off because they spent a lot of money on their third Hokages to be at the top of the game, right? To be the best players to win the events. So that's first off. But second off, because it's a physical game, you basically have to issue some kind of compensation, some kind of do-over, because this card, as you see it on your screen, this is not the official text of the card. So you're going to be playing, if you're a veteran with this version of the card, playing against a new player who came into the game after the nerf, That's not what this card does. They'll pick up the card, they'll read it, they'll think that's what it does, but it's not what it actually does. So that means that, again, they had to make a different version of the card. As you can see, the templating's a little bit different. Apologies for the quality. This is like 2010 internet level, resolution on our images. But essentially, even though they have the same artwork, they do not have the same text, right? It is the same card, but it doesn't match. So they kind of have to issue out these new versions of the card as compensation for the, veteran players, right? It's just not a good look. So they don't want to have to nerf the card, right? And they super don't want to have to remove the card entirely from the pool. That's a really bad look also for the same reasons. You're going to piss a lot of people off, right? And it's just a bad thing. It's a precedent that they didn't set. They don't want to ban cards. They've said so many times. We do not want to ban cards. It's really, really important to us. So what did they do? They tried to design their way out of it with cards like Visual Jutsu. So it says, change the effect of one of your opponent's cards to the following. The power of the user becomes 0/0 during the turn, and the mental power becomes 0. So like, the key thing to take away here from this effect is it changes the effect of your opponent's cards to be a drawback. Now, why is that important? Because Overflowing Chakra cannot be affected by your opponent's effects, but the owner of Overflowing Chakra, their effects can affect their own cards. So it's like, as a designer, we're gonna make a young Senya. We're gonna get him all. It's like it's a Harsetti counter, but it's not super obvious that it's a Harsetti counter. Problem solved, right? No, everyone still plays the problem. It's still ridiculous. It needs to be addressed. It needs to go. And then we arrive at the Silver Bullet. The actual honest-to-goodness Silver Bullet card. Control of the Ninetale. Players cannot put in play ninjas with Overflowing Chakra as their name. It specifically names the problem. Everyone took a look at this card, and to make sure that it got into the hands of players, they gave it out as a free promo so that everyone could get it. It's a low rarity thing that everyone has access to. Everyone has access to it. There's no problem anymore, guys. If everyone has Fenris, you have Fenris, right? There's no Harsetti problem anymore. But everyone looked at this and just said, so it's clear that Overflowing Chakra is a problem. So you wasted a card slot that specifically says, guys, don't play Overflowing Chakra anymore. Which leads to the player base coming to the conclusion, shouldn't the card just not be legal, period? If you printed a card that said the card's not legal, just get it over with. Everyone knows it's a problem, just ban the card. And eventually, after a couple more months, it gets banned. And yes, there's an initial uproar over it, but then the game goes back to being good again. And this has always been my core problem with the no nerf policy with Smilegate. They made a promise to players back in 2019, which I'd be willing to venture, like 95% of those people, they don't even play this game anymore. They don't even lose sleep over it. But for some reason, the people that make this game are so terrified of the backlash that they're willing to make decisions like this. Like, it's insane to me. It's actually insane to me that you would actually name the problem on exclusive equipment for every player to see. It acknowledges that it's a problem. And you went about it this way. And I hope that the exclusive equipment solves the problem. Because if it doesn't solve the problem, then Smilegate's going to be stuck there with egg on their face. And we're all just going to sit there looking at them going, so is it time for a rework yet? Is it time for a nerf? So yeah, I'm not happy, if you can't tell by the tone of this video. And forgive me for my tone throughout the video. I'll say that now. I've had a very stressful week. I'm coming off a pretty stressful day in general. But to see this, again, it's just baffling to me. Once again, I start to question, what are we doing to the game that I love? The game I've spent 7 years of my life with, right? I don't know how we arrived at this point. Like, I get it. It's a complex problem. But this is a terrible solution. And honestly, They should just recall this. They should just walk it back. I think that it's a bad precedent because who knows? What if Genesis Roz is a problem? And then we have to start making exclusive equipments for like red Mercedes that says when you're fighting against Genesis Roz, it does a thing. It's just lazy design, man. I hate it. I really do. I'll catch you later.